What is going on, Buckeye Nation? This is another episode of Walks Buckeye Talks. Man, had a chance to let the dust settle from the game, man. Still a touchy subject, man, around my house. All my friends giving me a lot of crap about the game, but man, this is just a venting section. I'm sorry, a venting session for me, man, as a diehard Buckeye fan. I've just been hearing a lot of stuff on social media, a lot of fake fans, former players saying a lot of bad stuff about the Buckeyes, man. It's kind of hardening, man, and can't believe it to a certain extent for certain players and these so-called fans, fake fans, man. It's just crazy that how you can be so fugazi, man. This program is supposedly built on tough guys, and man, sometimes you need a little butt kicking here and there, man, to build them calluses. That's how I feel, man. But before we get started, like, share, subscribe, comment, give me some feedback on this video, man. This is like I said, a venting session, man, for me. But I'm gonna start first off by saying I'm gonna start with the head. I'm gonna start with Ryan Day. If you know me, man, I'm a big Ryan Day fan. I feel like offensively, the Buckeyes when Urban Meyer was there was kind of was lacking in the department of the offensive philosophy and to beat a Georgia or a Bama. At the time, it was Bama. Before Georgia got there, it was Bama and then Clemson. You needed a quarterback that could take the shots, who was accurate, who was more of a pro style quarterback. And I feel like Ryan Day did that for the program. No disrespect to JT Barrett, he was a great quarterback, but we was never going to beat a Bama or Clemson or any of the top teams with JT Barrett. It just wasn't going to happen. We can sit here and well, he beat Michigan 4 times. Yes, he was great, but ultimately the goal is to win a natty. Nobody would tell you any different. And I think Ryan Day did that. I think he's a heck of a offensive mind. He was a heck of a coordinator. And I be like he offensively with the offensive skills and the quarterback play, he lifted this program. You know what I mean? Like Trussell uh lifted it from Cooper, and then Urban really put it to an elite level. But I think Ryan Day did that also offensively, right? He changed the philosophy of Ohio State. Now we're more so looked at as an offensive school, right? With quarterback play, receivers, dynamic receivers. And you need that type of skill to beat a very talented team, especially in the SEC. So what I've been hearing about Ryan Day is very unfortunate. A lot of people want him fired. A lot of people think he's not the guy for the job. Of course, you're gonna get that whole philosophy is that he's not tough or he's soft or whatever. But people gonna talk. I don't get caught up in that because I don't know Ryan Day personally, or any coach for that matter. I would never call a man soft, especially if I don't know him or I didn't have any type of relationship with him. You know, I thought Ryan Day this year did a heck of a job. This is as even as a fan, I have to be truthful. This is not a very good Ohio State team. Uh, you had a first year quarterback who never played at all. Well, he played. I'll take that back. He played that 1 year against Akron, but like you still had a first year quarterback who never really played for real. And then late in the transfer season, we had to get a left tackle. Like we didn't even have a left tackle, and the guy who had to come was originally a right tackle. Like uh we didn't even have an offensive line like starters. Like that's how like crazy this offseason was last year for Ohio State. And to overcome that, to go on a road to beat Notre Dame, to go on a road, I mean to beat Penn State at home. That was supposed to be Penn State year, right? This was supposed to be their year to overcome us. To go on a road to Madison, Wisconsin, to go on a road to in Piscataway. Like we had a challenging schedule, and for us to overcome and to be 11-0 going into the game, I feel like Ryan Day did a heck of a job. Him and his staff, the defense was remarkable. So I got to give credit when credit's due, man, because you lose a game in the season, people would be so quick to, yeah, he's not the right guy. But you go undefeated and lose the game, and it's like, see, I told you. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. You know, I give credit when credit's due. I know he needs to be Michigan. He has to overcome he has a Michigan problem. I can say that as a fan. As a fan of Ryan Day, he does have a Michigan problem that he has to figure out. But I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a bad coach. This year showed that he's a good coach. This team shouldn't have won 11 and 0. Like, seriously, this team shouldn't have won. I don't care how much talent you got. This team shouldn't have won 11 and 0 with a first year quarterback in a not so good offensive line. And for us to go 11 and 0, that's a big deal. I keep hearing people saying, "Well, we want Mike Vrabel." No, why would he go leave the NFL to come back to Ohio State when entitled kids that you got to pay to recruit or you got to pay for them to come to school? I don't know Mike Vrabel, but I don't think that's the job for him. I don't think that's going to be a good idea for him to come back and deal with that. And I could be wrong. Money talks, but I don't think he's the type of guy who wants to deal with that. Uh, I think it's very, I don't like the way college football is now, but it is what it is because of that. And I don't think Vrabel was a guy. I've been hearing crazy stuff. Dion and uh, Dan Lanning. Sorry, heard something in my back door. Like that stuff is like no, like Ryan Day's the guy, man. He's the guy. Uh, you know, you would hate for to us to be like Michigan, right? You go from Lloyd Carr and you go from Rich Rod to Brady Hoke, and it's like 2 decades of just being mediocre. You don't want that. Like you don't want that at all. So I'm a big fan of Ryan Day. I give credit when credit's due. Uh, I think he should be the man for this job. I think he's still a young coach figuring things out, but he has to figure out bring some more life and energy to the offense and he gonna have to change some things up, man. You know, I think sometimes he can get stubborn. You know what I mean? I think that's what you do sometimes when you are so good at something. You have to swallow your pride and say, "Hey, we need to change some stuff up." I feel like all year we've had too many weapons on the bench not being a factor in the game. You know what I mean? Especially in games that you can put them in there and it wasn't gonna hurt you. Get Ennis in there. Get some of those young legs in there to see what they can do. You know, I think they're dynamite. Get some of those young kids in there. Give them a chance. Throw them on punt return. Throw them on kick return. Like you gotta use the weapons that you got, man. So, but other than that, man, I think Ryan Day is here to stay, man. I never thought he was gonna get fired, even if he lost. This is, I mean, no, I never thought that. I've been here. Well, if he lose to an interim coach, first of all, Harbaugh just wasn't there on Saturday. He still coached the team. Everybody knows the most coaching goes on at practice. You know, the game is more of you just a game manager, but I never thought that. I just think that's the media hyping things up because they realize if Ohio State goes on from Ryan Day and doesn't make a good hire after that, we could be like Michigan and like Alabama for all those years, like Georgia for all those years, and Miami and everybody else. You have to make that right hire, and I think that's just stupid right now to move on from Ryan Day without a for sure hire. So that's my thought on that. Uh, I'm very disappointed as fans that I'm seeing all this hate for Ohio State, especially from former players and stuff, man. Look, I'm trying to be the most realistic as I can be when I say this, and I'm not, I'm all for the Buckeyes, but I think some of us really thought that Michigan was never going to beat us again, and I was one of them for a short period of time. Like I really think that people really thought we would never lose to Michigan again. And I think they're realizing that once Michigan got the recruits, they got NFL type talent. That was what they was missing all those years. We had NFL type talent and they didn't. They had good college players. They might have had a player here and there for NFL, but they have like what Corum and Edwards and JJ McCarthy. Their offensive line is probably all going pro. Defense, they got pros. They don't have to be first, second rounders, but they have pros and they have guys who've been there 5 or 6 years. So it finally caught up to Ohio State. We wasn't getting the type of recruits that we needed to maintain it. We took a back step with defensive recruiting because we lost uh, with the Kerry Combs stuff, and we wasn't recruiting the right guys, and Jeff Hatfield left. So that kind of threw us back with the defensive recruiting. Offensive recruiting, we were always a step behind offense. We couldn't get those guys. We couldn't get those guys. So we had to, try to find pieces to put in, and we wasn't getting the type of talent. So when you got 2 or 3 years of that, and you got a school who's producing and they're producing those type of players, and I'm sorry, I can't think of the word right now, but uh they're developing that skill, and they're developing that talent, and they're developing the trenches, and they're going out there recruiting the right guys, and you snag a 5-star quarterback, you snag a couple pro running backs, a 5-star running back. You got the talent and offensive line, and then you create a mindset of defense that's strong to the point of attack in the trenches. It catches up to you, and that's what happened for so long. We've been had the advantage in the trenches. We don't have that anymore. At this stage, Michigan has the advantage, especially on the offensive line. So I think that that's what happened, And one thing I will say that I can agree, I can say this about Ryan Day and Ohio State as a fan base, we got complacent about Michigan. We just thought it was just another game that we were going to dominate because we just had more talent. I'll be the first to tell you that as a fan. I got complacent. When 2018 came around and I saw Dwayne Haskins kill that team when I thought for sure Ohio State was going to lose, I remember saying, like, they're never going to beat us. And then 2019 came, and that team was just like crazy talented. I was like, dude, they're never going to beat us. They're never going to beat Ohio State again. And I believe that's what happened to Ohio State. They got complacent. They wasn't, recruiting the right guys. They got complacent. They got lazy. Oh, it's just another game. We're too talented. And now, look, now you're in a situation where it's like, man, we like this is a rivalry now. Like, you lost 3 in a row. You have to right your ship, and you have to figure this out at home next year. I don't care what they got coming back. This is a must win. And I just hate that, the football team faces some adversity. A team that's still very good. I mean, it wasn't like we was 8-4 or 10-2 and we lost 9-3. Like, we're still a hell of a program, a hell of a team. But it's just to show you that when you got to face with a little adversity, how people turn their back on you. You know what I mean? I don't like losing the game either. I hate it. I don't like Michigan just like the next guy. But I'm also not going to get faced with some adversity and turn my back on Ohio State, and everybody should get fired and the players are soft. And look, you think they don't care about winning the game? You think they put their bodies on the line to not win? Like, I've been here, they dance before the game. Oh, we wasn't doing that. Yes, you did. What does dancing have to do with anything about the game? If they dance and win, what we gonna say? Nothing. Like, just shut up. Everybody does that. They do their little dance. It's called team camaraderie. Who cares? That has nothing to do with the outcome of the game. Like, I hate stuff like that. I hate stuff like that. You just nitpicking little things like that. That's to me, that's phony. That's fake, man. That's phony fans when they do that. I never looked at kids dancing before the game and said that's the reason why they're gonna lose. They've been doing it. They've been doing it for the last. They did it when they won in 2019. Nobody said anything. Like, I hate fans like that. I hate phony fans like that. And it's frustrating that you see all these former players nitpicking because they have the right. They beat Michigan, but I don't care what people say. They wasn't beating these type of Michigan teams. Maybe a team here and there, a year here and there. They wasn't consistently beating a top 3 team, a Michigan team who was vying for a national title. I don't care what they say. Tressel did a couple times. Urban did maybe once, but not 3 straight years. And you're on the road having to do it for 2 of those years. Stop it, man. We're first year quarterbacks. It just don't add up to me. I'm just a realist. I've seen all the Tressel years. I've seen all the Urban years. He wasn't beating these teams. And not saying they couldn't, but they wasn't doing this every year. So credit to Michigan. You got to give credit. I hate losing to them also, but I hate seeing former players and so-called fans be fake like that, man. That's just not my character. I'm a ride or die with Ohio State. If we next year we go 6-6, I'm still gonna ride with the Buckeyes, man. You know what I mean? I'm a fan for life. So um it's what it is, man. I'm critical though. I am a little scared about this recruiting class, man. This recruiting class that was looking, excuse me, promising. And then I've been hearing we just lost a 5-star Justin Scott, which I was never really sold on that kid. He's from Illinois up north. I live in Illinois. I've been hearing stuff about him for a while that I was never really sold on him. So that's really not shocking. It was a bonus if we got him, but that's not a shock to me. But I've been hearing, other things about maybe the receiver Jeremiah Smith. Hopefully he can stick it out. Hopefully we add a couple more D tackles. Um, and we can kind of stay in that 1 or 2 range as far as his class, man. And we can just keep the momentum. Hopefully we get some momentum getting these. Like I told, we got a couple visits coming, but we got to get some momentum flowing, man. Because right now it's just recruitings. We just lost a 5-star. Rumors is that JJ might be flipping. Keenan Bailey got a interview. Joe Knowles got an interview. So definitely not a good week for the Buckeyes, man. You know what I'm saying? I really would love to see Jim Knowles in another year. Uh, and on top of that, having to get another D coordinator, you don't know recruits. It's just one of those things, man, where hopefully Jim Knowles sticks it out for a few more years for us, man. I would like to see at least year 3 or 4, man. I hate switching D coordinators like this, man. So just a little down week for the Buckeyes. But one thing for sure, two for certain, man. College football is weird. The sports world is weird, man. One week looks like this, next week you'll be on top. So it's just how it is, man. But what I think the Buckeyes need next year, man, that I would love to see. I don't know if this is gonna happen, but since the transfer portal is open, I would love for us to get 3 good offensive line, get a left tackle, get another guard, and maybe get another dominant, another really good guard who can really push people around, man. That's what I'm praying for because I think that Josh Simmons, I think he's not bad, but if he can move to his original position, right tackle, and we get a really good left tackle, and Donovan Jackson stays, and we just need a guard, I think this could be, and hopefully Carson Hinsman gets better, which I think he will. He's a red shirt freshman. I think that's what this team needs, man. We got to get the offensive line shirt up, and we got to use the transfer portal to our advantage, man. And hopefully, some guys can, some guys coming back. As far as offensive line, we get them. Heard of some couple guys from Indiana that we looking at. We got to shore up this offensive line, man. And I think that's the biggest thing heading into next year. We can get a really good offensive line. I think that would cause us a lot of stress-free moments, man, because the offense line it just wasn't good enough to really, be the top team. And I think they did okay, but we gonna need an offensive line that's way better, man. 2 on my list, and I'm praying. But I mean, personally, I think that Emeka Buka and Travion Henderson should come back, man. I really do. Emeka didn't have the season I think he probably intended to. Um, Also, breaking your first year quarterback is just like that sometimes. But I know we got a lot of receivers waiting in the waiting to get their shot. But I really feel like Emeka should come back, man. I feel like his route running could be a lot more crisp. He could get better with his hands a little bit, making tough catches in traffic. But I would love to see Emeka back, and I would love to see Trey back one more time, man. I think that he's just now breaking into his ceiling where he can be special. But I think that I would only come back if Ryan Day is promising that this offensive line is going to be shored up. Because I think if we can open some holes for him next year, man, he can lead us to a Big Ten championship. I really feel like that, man. Um, he's so explosive, and he showed that this year. So I'm praying those two come back, man, along with Donovan Jackson. And on the defensive side, I hope Jordan Hancock comes back for us. That'll be huge. I think the secondary has a chance to be special. And hopefully, and I hope that Mike Hall comes back. I know JT's gone, but if Jack Sawyer, Mike Hall, Tyleek would be big too, but I think he's gone. But I think we can get those guys back, at least Mike Hall, Jordan Hancock, and Jack Sawyer. I think that would be huge for the defense, for the depth. And then also you keep Jordan Hancock, that secondary gonna be really good, be young, but it'd be good and explosive and nasty. So that's my wish list for next year. I know a lot of people want to see a quarterback. I do too, but it's like all the quarterbacks that's coming are free. I don't know if they fit Ryan Day's system, man. That's the only thing. I've been hearing the kid from Washington State. He looks good. He looks quick, fast, can scramble, but does he fit the system, man? And I know we gotta you gotta make the system fit the player. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for trying a new quarterback, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna ride with Kyle McCord, Devin Brown, and Lincoln Kinghost, or that freshman, which he's not gonna start a freshman, but I think it's gonna be those three vying for the spot. And I hate it, because I think Kyle McCord is a good guy. I just don't think he's a guy that gets you to that next level. So we'll see, man. But that's just my venting session. I can go on and on about the Buckeyes and really dive deep, but I just hate to see what I'm seeing on the internet and Facebook, on Twitter/X about the Buckeyes, man. These all fans. Everybody want to blow up Ohio State. But also on the flip side, a lot of people they smiling, they happy, man. That's why I said we gotta stay with it, stay strong because all these programs they vying for our downfall. Not only Michigan, I've been seeing a lot of Florida schools. They downing us, man. They want us to finally meet that fate of falling off. So we got to stay committed. We got to stay down. We got to stay righteous, man. Because in due time, man, we'll get back to the top for sure. But that's all I had, man. Like I said, like, share, subscribe. Give me some feedback, man, on this video. This is my venting session, and we'll see how it goes, man, about the Buckeyes in this offseason and see what this bowl game is hitting for. Playing for the playoffs, but I doubt it. So anyways, man, I'm out. Talk to y'all guys later.